Do guitar pickups even matter that much? Or at least as much as the guitar industry wants you to believe? I don't know. And I think it's okay not to know. My personal view is that it depends. Depends on a number of variables, such as what kind of music you play, if you're playing with high distortion, what pickups you're comparing them to. And third of all, if it's something that makes you happy, why not? Just do it. So in that spirit, today, guys, we are trying something a little bit different. We are putting a pair of missing link audio Mason Dixon peach buckers in my cherished 1990 Gibson Les Paul Standard. Hopefully I won't mess it up because I'd be really sad. You may also be asking yourself, why the hell is he changing the pickups on a 30-plus-year-old Les Paul? The reason I chose this guitar to fit these pickups is actually really, really simple. I've played this guitar throughout my whole youth, throughout my whole time. I've played it in every single band I was in. There's a 34-year-old guitar that has been through it all. I know what it sounds like. I know what their pickups sound like. However, I never found that the original pickups that were in this were well balanced between each other. I always found the neck pickup way too muddy. That was one of my issues. The other issue was that maybe I lacked a bit of clarity and punch on the bridge kit pickup. But there is also another reason why I wanted to put these MLA pickups in there. And that's because I've got a real problem when people are comparing pickups, when they're comparing them against something that is not comparable. So say you take an inexpensive pickup and you compare it with a Seymour Duncan or one of these. Doesn't make sense. You need to compare apples with apples, pigs with pigs. You can't compare two different species, right? Yes, of course, it's an upgrade, but 9 times out of 10, it will always be an upgrade, right? All things being equal, yes, it will sound better. And that's simply because better materials have been used, better know-how. It should sound better because it's a lot more expensive. So ultimately, the point that I'm trying to make is I want to compare it to something comparable. So I think a Gibson old school pickup will compare nicely. And that's when we can see, well, is there a difference? Do they have some of the things that, they publicize on their website? That's something that we'll have to find out. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to take a few seconds to talk about today's sponsor. If like me, you are completely obsessed with guitars and anything related to guitars, then you won't want to miss out on the London International Guitar Show. Now in its 7th year, we'll return to Kempton Park Racecourse with over 150 exhibitors. As with all the Northern Guitar Show events, you will have great live music by some very cool artists, workshops and demonstrations. You can eat, you can drink, have fun and talk to some really interesting and good people. Oh, and did I forget the entry is only £15? What else do you want from life? Check the link below, www.guitarshows.co.uk, and make sure you don't miss it. So this is the plan. I've pre-recorded a number of samples playing the stock Gibson that I've had forever. Then we're going to install these new pickups, and I'm going to fast forward this because I think there's 2 million YouTube videos on how to install pickups and people doing all the right things and blah 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 and all that crap. Look, there's people that are way better than I am at doing all of this, and so check those videos out because they're really, really good. And then we can start playing with the new pickups, and I'll try to roughly replicate some of those original samples that I did, and we'll play them back to back so we can actually hear the differences. A few things to know. I'll keep the playing clips short because when you have long playing clips and the music goes on for too long, your ears get used to it. So I've always found that it was a lot easier to tell a difference between two things if they're short clips back to back. The second thing, before you guitar YouTube gurus start typing at that keyboard in anger, in order to make this test I want to say fair test, I did my best to remove the pickups, install the new pickups without actually restringing the guitar. Ultimately, if you're comparing something and putting brand new strings on, it's going to have slightly a different sound. These are not brand new strings. They have already been slightly played in. And so I didn't want to do something which is unfair on either set of pickups. Unfortunately, that plan slightly failed because when I was taking the bridge off, the high E broke. And so what I've done is I've left it long so you guys can see. I put a brand new one, the Daria NY XL. The high E only is a brand new set of strings, but all the rest are the same in both samples. The best plans in life will always fail. And a second point I just wanted to mention quickly is that in these sound samples, you will not hear me play high distortion. Glenn is absolutely correct in that. If you're playing heavy music, pickups, in my opinion, don't matter that much. However, if you're playing clean, I think there's a lot more depending on your pickup. So according to that view, I've kept the sounds fairly clean, just with a little bit of overdrive and minimal effects, delay, reverb, I think in 2 of the samples, but nothing major, nothing really to hide the difference, if any, of the pickups. To appease the YouTube guitar police, I wanted to tell you how exactly this video came about. I have been following MLA, Missing Link Audio, a long time on social media, mainly Instagram. I've been looking at their pedals as well because they have pedals, amplifiers, etc. And one day they actually had a giveaway. I entered because that's what you do, right? Lo and behold, a few days later, I actually got an email from the guys at MLA saying that I won the competition and I could choose a set of pickups. So I chose the Peach Buckers because 1, I think the name is really cool, and 2, obviously I like Alnico 2 pickups that slightly more vintage rounded sound. In all of this, I hadn't thought about doing a review on them. I hadn't even mentioned it to them. Once I received them, I started thinking about, you know what, it's such a great opportunity to review a pickup set that I haven't personally played yet. So I wrote them an email just saying, for your information, I'm going to review these. Thank you very much. And that's it. All of this just to say that if you want to call this a sponsored video by MLA because they gave me a product, you can do that. I don't see it as such because they didn't even ask me to do a video. I just won it through a competition, and also because we haven't really had any conversation since about it. So I will put this as a sponsored video, but it's not. Okay guys, as always with my videos, it's time to start wrapping it up and have a think about pros and cons of putting the Peach Buckers in this guitar. What are our thoughts? Were they really that different to the original set? And also, finally, whether it's a worthwhile investment for you guys. Because ultimately, the point of this video, and I keep repeating it, and also the point of the channel, is to help you guys make decisions. But whilst giving you an actual answer, because often my problem has always been that no one gives you a straight answer. And that's not really what I want to do. Let's jump into it. When I fitted the Peach Buckers in this guitar, I've got to say I was a little bit scared. One, because obviously I have a sentimental attachment to this guitar. It was given to me by a very special person, and so not only is it a beautiful instrument, but it also has that history behind it. So that's the first thing. As you hopefully saw in the installation video, my fears started to become reality when, as soon as I took the old pickups out, the 35-year-old ring or whatever started crumbling in my fingers. So I had to quickly put on a cheap replacement that I had. But in terms of comparing the original pickups with the Peachbucker set, I've got to say my impressions are as follows. Immediately, the balance between the bridge and the neck pickup is a lot better with the Peachbuckers. I've got to say, the neck pickup for me was way too dark, way too overpowering for the bridge pickup. So that in-between position now sounds a lot better with this new set. Second of all, the clarity is one of the factors that I found, even listening back to those samples, has really amazed me. These MLA Alnico 2 pickups really focus on the clarity, and you can hear it because the guitar is a lot less, I don't want to say muddy, but a lot more transparent. So you can hear the actual string definition a lot better than with the original Gibson ones. Possibly they have slightly less punch than the original Gibson ones, but that's something that you can always add through the guitar amp or the guitar sim, whatever you're using. The clarity for me has been the main surprise with these MLA pickups. Another point which I found, this guitar has always had a lot of sustain. It's a heavy guitar, and one of its main things is that it held a note forever. And I was afraid that by replacing these pickups, it would lose some of that. Actually, you know what? The sustain is just as good. The notes keep ringing just as much. I didn't, at least to my ears, hear any loss in volume and any degradation when holding the note. So that was a real pleasant surprise. Between the two sets, I've got to say the one that made the biggest difference is the neck pickup. The neck pickup on the MLA set is now exactly what I wanted the neck pickup on the Gibson set to be like. It's less bassy, it's less covered, it's less boomy, it's a lot clearer, and you can not only get those slashy type solos on it, but also do a little bit of rhythm, which most people don't do on the neck pickup because of the kind of boominess. That one for me has been the biggest change. The bridge pickup is also very clear. It works just as well as the Gibson one in terms of rhythms, and definitely does not have maybe those shrieky highs. Very well-rounded pickup. So if we do a usual pros and cons, I think these Peachbuckers, pros, increased clarity, they have great sustain, and I think it doesn't cover the guitar, it represents the guitar a lot better than the previous pickups in there. Cons, the specific set may be a little too low output and not incredibly aggressive. So if you're looking for something like that, MLA have different higher output pickups. I guess it's time to wrap this up, and as always with my final thoughts, the easiest way to answer is, do I regret putting these pickups in? Absolutely not. They sound fantastic. As I said, I was very scared, but they actually made me happy. I kind of enjoyed playing this guitar again because I put it in the back for a long time. You go through phases and it just sounded a bit too always warm, not snappy enough. This kind of made me rediscover my love for this guitar. We have to talk about the price. These pickups as a set come around $300, so they're not a cheap set of pickups. They are a fairly expensive set of pickups, but definitely worth it in my opinion. It's a really good purchase. Obviously, if you have an EP or you have a guitar with slightly less good pickups, this is going to make a massive change. There's no doubt about it. But also, if you have a high-end guitar and maybe you're missing something, these are really good pickups. Again, clarity for me is the most important thing, and they definitely hit that on the head. So overall, guys, thank you so much as usual for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you found those short samples to compare the two pickups useful. I would love if you guys would let me know in the comments. Let's have a discussion about it. And please, as always, be nice to each other. Keep playing guitar. It's a beautiful world. There's no reason to be so upset. Let's just have fun, play guitar, and all get along. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you soon.